During the ongoing West Asia war, both Israel and Qatar have been at the receiving end of Iran's retaliation, being allies of the US. Things are different on the domestic front, though. Key Israeli opposition leader Naftali Bennett has now vowed to declare Qatar an enemy state if he becomes the prime minister again. Let's break this down. Also, let's tell you more about Bennett. He served as the prime minister from 2021 to 2022. He accused Doha of funding Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. As per reports, he also claimed that Qatar has invested 25 years in a powerful global influence operation that has caused major damage, allegedly, to Israel. It's a major statement. Bennett also lashed out at Qatar over its alleged support for Hamas in the context of the October 7 attack, which led to the killings of about 1,200 Israelis. He said, I'm quoting here, after October 7, nothing is complicated here. Qatar is an enemy, quote unquote. That's not all. The ex-Israeli prime minister called Qatar a violent anti-Semitic cancer that has spread even to Netanyahu's office, quote unquote. Now, this was seemingly a reference to the Qatargate scandal. Essentially, Netanyahu's top aides were accused of taking money to spearhead a public relations campaign to cast Qatar in a positive light after the October 7 Hamas attack on Israel. Israel arrested Urich and Feldstein in March last year. While Netanyahu has dismissed the Qatargate allegations as politically motivated, Bennett often demanded his resignation over the issue. On its part, though, Qatar accused Bennett of spreading disinformation to further his own political ambitions. The country's embassy in the US said, I'm quoting, Israeli politicians who criticize Qatar should instead focus on addressing their own domestic challenges, quote unquote. Now, the ties between Israel and Qatar have been quite complex, to say the least. On one hand, Qatar hosts the Al Udeid Air Base, which is the largest American military base in West Asia. This site, in fact, has been attacked by Iran multiple times during the war. At the same time, Qatar is one of the mediators via which the US has been exchanging messages with Iran reportedly. It also played a crucial role in the Gaza ceasefire, but it's not viewed as a neutral figure as such by Israel. In fact, Israel accuses Qatar of backing Hamas, whose political office it has hosted since 2012. So that's the context. It also is pertinent to note here that Qatar is yet to join the Abraham Accords and establish diplomatic relations with Israel. In September last year, tensions between the two sides peaked after IDF conducted its first ever airstrike on Doha. In fact, which resulted in the death, remember, of 5 Hamas operatives and 1 Qatari security personnel. This triggered global outrage. In a sharp rebuke, US President Donald Trump stressed that the strike did not advance either Israel or America's goals. Initially, Netanyahu justified the attack as well.
If Qatar had wanted to, it could easily have applied much stronger pressure. That would have helped us release all our hostages already in the first months of the war. It is connected to Hamas. It strengthens Hamas. It harbors Hamas. It funds Hamas.
And while meeting Trump at the White House, though, Netanyahu called his Qatari counterpart and apologized for the airstrike on Doha and violation of the country's sovereignty. Reportedly, he also affirmed that Israel will not conduct such an attack again in the future. With Israel scheduled to go to the polls in October, it appears that Qatar as well as Iran will remain big talking points in domestic politics as well. Moving on for now, the race to expand the role of drones is entering a whole new phase. China has successfully tested what it says is its first civilian drone that can fly 24 hours, non-stop, fully loaded. What's the story here? The fact is, this marks another step in the growing use of drones beyond the battlefield. The TP-200 completed its maiden flight reportedly It's designed for tasks like maritime patrols, supplying remote islands and carrying out land surveys reportedly. The drone can stay in the air for up to 24 hours while carrying its maximum payload and operate across distances of up to 3,000 kilometers. The TP200 has a service ceiling of about 7,600 meters and a maximum cruise speed of 200 kilometers per hour reportedly. It can also take off and land within 300 meters, including from unpaved runways, making it suitable also for operations in remote and difficult terrain. Its manufacturing company says the aircraft could actually help monitor coastlines, support near-shore search and rescue missions, and also deliver emergency supplies to isolated islands and mountainous regions. Its modular design reportedly also allows it to track droughts, assist in tackling forests and grassland fires, map land and monitor forests and ecosystems in all weather conditions. Now, this is not an isolated example. Around the world, governments are increasingly turning to large drones for disaster relief, wildfire monitoring, humanitarian aid, environmental protection. Similar civilian applications are being explored in countries like the US, Japan, and across Europe as well. For China, the TP200 perhaps reflects the growing shift towards using advanced unmanned aviation not only for defense but also for public safety, disaster management, and remote area connectivity. Shifting focus, the ocean suddenly comes alive as hundreds of giants rise from the deep, nearly 300 humpback whales gathering in one extraordinary feeding frenzy, creating a spectacle rarely seen on camera. But this stunning sight is also a powerful sign of how a species, once hunted to the brink, seems to be fighting its way back. This is a special report. Take a look.
For centuries, the ocean belonged to these giants. Then came the hunters. Harpoons tore through the world's whale populations. Humpbacks were chased across oceans for oil, meat and other products. Their numbers crashed. Now, in one extraordinary stretch of ocean, the giants are back, off South Africa's west coast. Wildlife photographers Chris and Monique Fallows found themselves surrounded by a breathtaking sight. Hundreds of humpback whales had converged in a feeding ground. They counted 299 whales. Blows erupted across the horizon, one after another. Giant plumes of spray shot into the air. The ocean looked like a living skyline.
On the 30th of December, about 100 kilometers north of Cape Town, we were greeted by what I could only describe as a Manhattan skyline, with huge plumes of whale breath greeting us like skyscrapers. And very quickly we realized we were looking at a sight we had never seen before in our lives, and that was of hundreds of whales coming together to feed in one small area. And it was truly breathtaking, not only as a naturalist, but as a fine art photographer. You dream of moments like this.
It marks the largest humpback whale sightings from one place within 24 hours. Fallows' wife, Monique, who works with him on his photographic shoots, had a different take on the unique moment.
We could hear them, we could smell them. So the funny thing about humpback whales is they actually smell really bad. So when they're in those feeding groups, they're feeding on krill, which are very fishy, and they actually burp and they fart all the time. So the smell was really overpowering. The sounds were incredible. When they were breathing all over us, we were getting drenched in whale exhalation, so it was really a sensory experience.
Scientists call such gatherings supergroups. Humpbacks are usually solitary or travel in small groups. But when food becomes abundant, they can come together in huge numbers.
Supergroups have not been seen until about 2012 when the first were kind of recorded, and it's very likely a result of a recovery of the population from whaling. So humpback whales were severely hunted to very low numbers, and so it would be a natural phenomenon to see less whales and therefore no supergroups. But as these whales recover from whaling and populations rebound, these supergroups are forming again now in our rich Benguela outlying system.
The whales dive beneath the surface, hunting krill and small fish. Some populations are known to use bubble nets, blowing curtains of bubbles that concentrate prey before the whales surge upwards with enormous mouths open. Southern Hemisphere humpback numbers have climbed from fewer than 10,000 during the height of industrial whaling to more than 100,000 today. The turning point came in 1986, when the International Whaling Commission's commercial whaling moratorium took effect. But the comeback is not complete. Ships can strike whales, fishing gear can entangle them, climate change can disrupt the food they depend on. For now though, the message from the deep is unmistakable. The giants survived, and they are right now having a feast. Bureau Report, WION, World is One.